Good morning, Growlers fans. It is Monday, May 29th, and you're tuned in to the Doghouse. Chris Ballard, Brady Reed, and Kyle Curtis alongside here as we help, tee up Game 6 coming up here on Tuesday. And we will summarize last night's Game 4 at the Mary Brown Center. It was an even game all night long. The Growlers falling short in the end, 5-2, but don't let the score fool you. A couple of empty netters there for the Everblades. We'll start with Brady. Brady, it was a close game up till this last 7 minutes, and it took a deflection to beat Luke Cavillin for good. What did you make of the effort and I guess the overall feel of last night's game?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty entertaining game.
Yeah.
And, I know we'll probably get into Gogolev's comments and his assessment of the game, but I didn't think they were too far from what I felt. A pretty tight game.
Yep.
In many ways, could have went either way. The Growlers had a lot of good looks early in the third period. Couldn't capitalize. Good goaltending. It's a big part of Florida's identity, and just a great tip in front by McCarron. You got to give him credit.
Yeah.
And the type of goal that wins a game like that. Isn't
Oh,
it?
100%. No, you can't take anything away from the Everblades, but for us, I'd like to just dwell on the positives for the Growlers heading into Game 6. Again, Brady alluded to it. A great night again for Pavel Gogolev, really leading the charge on the offense.
Yeah, Pavel Gogolev by far the best player on the ice last night for the Growlers.
Yeah.
Obviously, no player with 2 goals, you'd say he's the best player. But I think even if he didn't score, I think he was the best player. He had many great opportunities, and that great shot. He got past Cam Johnson twice. He had a really good couple chances at maybe getting a hat trick. But and it wasn't just his offensive play. He played really well defensively.
That's a great point.
Yep.
Blocking a few shots, putting his body on the line for the team. So it was nice to kind of see Gogolev break out of a little bit of a slump he was having by having his best game in the postseason by far.
Yeah, he's up to 7 goals now, 1 goal back of the team lead. And another solid night between the pipes for Luke Cavillin. He made 37 saves on the 40 shots. He faced 3 goals allowed, but more than enough saves to make up for that. Nothing is certainly his fault for last night's loss.
No, he was very solid again. Very little chance on that game winner.
Yeah.
I think they had another power play goal in there where he made a big save. It came across. You can only ask so much. And, he certainly was not a part of the problem. And I think you can see he's becoming a big part of the narrative of this team. The crowd really hanging on every big save from him. He's getting a lot of love. So we'll see what he can do with that energy tomorrow.
No, you're absolutely right. And you mentioned the special teams. That has been the Growlers' one of the areas that the Growlers have held the edge in the series so far. The power play, though, has kind of dried up a little bit. Now, mind you, it's tough to really gain ground when you get 1 power play a game like they got last night. But for the Growlers, they're 3 for 18 on the power play, 16 for 17 on the penalty kill. It's just really unfortunate that the one Florida power play goal was scored yesterday to help lift them over the top. But the special teams has certainly been doing its job for the Growlers, both keeping it out of their own zone and helping to generate what little offense they've been able to produce.
Yeah, they've been great. I think their power play opportunity last night was a very good one. I think they were cycling the puck really well, and they had a good couple shots, but I think Cam Johnson just stood tall. He kind of played out of his mind last night. And obviously, their penalty kill is just phenomenal.
It has been.
I mean, you got to give it to Ben Missella. That was an amazing one-timer for the
great
Circle
shot
last night. But they've just been playing very well defensively all together, and it's been transferring over to their special teams as well.
Well, for sure. And these have been really close hockey games. We can't, it was 5-2 last night, but again, the Growlers scored first. Florida came back to tie it before the end of the period. In the second, the Growlers came out flying, but again, they were able to find another response, and this is a good Florida team. And let's give some credit to them where it's due as well. One area in particular last night that I thought they really performed well is preventing the Growlers from breaking out of their own zone. What did you see there?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I'm a soccer player myself, so I just think about, you got 3 guys in midfield, 4 guys in midfield who are just clogging it up, and that's what it feels like. It's like, how can the Growlers get anything going offensively when they can't get beyond the neutral zone, right? And I know there's been a bit of discourse regarding who's to blame here, and I don't think it's that simple.
No.
We'll leave that to the video coach and the staff down there, but yeah, I don't think it's been the D. I think the D have been battling really well for Newfoundland. I think it's just, like you said, I mean, we do have to give some credit to Florida for the way that they've figured it out. We've struggled with what the solution is. It might just be match their compete and their effort level, right? We've clearly got the skill.
Yeah.
And we've proven that we can match that with the heart. It was there last year. It was the year when they won in 2019. So, I mean, it's an elimination game tomorrow. Backs against the wall. You got to think we're going to see it, right?
No, exactly. And with Florida, I mean, you can't forget this is the team. They won the Kelly Cup last year. They have 8 returning players from that squad. What else have you seen out of Florida that has maybe impressed you this week?
Well, like Brady just said, I think they're probably one of the best forechecking teams we've played all year. I think they're really good at dumping the puck and getting in there and grinding it out in the corners. And when you got a guy like Oliver Chow out there who's just passing the puck like a maniac, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to stop that. But you gotta give, like you said, you gotta give credit to Florida. They've been playing really well on the road too. You gotta give that in a loud.
They're a good road team.
Yeah, in a loud arena with 4,900 fans last night, they managed to come out and get a nice redirection in front to secure the win.
No, exactly. And one thing I've locked in on, and I know a lot of fans have as well, is that the shot clock has maybe been a little out of whack here. Long story short, the Growlers have been outshot pretty heavily. But and I know we tuned into Pavel Gogolev's post-game interview last night where I think he kind of hits the nail on the head. Ignore the shot clock because Florida just seems like they're putting the puck on net from everywhere.
Yeah, and Gogo, I know he had 6 shots on goal last night, but if you think about the chances that he had, he's not a guy who shoots unless he truly thinks it's going to the back of the net.
Well, exactly.
So he had 6 high danger chances last night is the way I choose to see that. And I think you said McCarron might have had 8 last night.
Yeah.
Listen, he had a terrific tip. Other than that, I can't remember a goal-scoring chance that he actually had.
No, and I think I think you're absolutely right. It's just more of a stylistic difference maybe between the two teams. The Growlers are more of, and I'm going to stop using the quality over quantity adage. No, but it does feel like it is a volume team for the Everblades and how they create offense, and a little just a different approach for the Growlers, which is all fine and good because it's been a really close series. 18 goals in the series for Florida. That includes 3 empty netters. To the Growlers, 14. Those are competitive hockey games no matter how you look at them. However, obviously now, and you mentioned it, Brady, the Growlers' backs are against the wall. One more loss and their season ends right here at home. We'll go to you, KC. What do you think the Growlers can do, should do to shake things up and hope to get an advantage here and force a Game 7?
I think we might see a little shift in the lines tomorrow. I feel like Skirving is going to come off that extra role and actually get slotted into a line because I feel like he's been playing really well lately. Not like he just come off a 3-game goal streak.
Sure.
But I think if you slot him in there somewhere in the lineup, I don't know where you put him. I know it's not my decision, but I feel like if you get Skirving in there, they're going to have a good shot at winning the game. And I think they're going to come out of the gate hot. I think they're going to be playing with their hearts on their sleeves. I think they're going to go out there. I think it's going to be the best Growlers hockey we've seen all year. And I'm just predicting that because, I know the guys don't want to go home. I know they really want this. And I think we're going to see a Game 7.
Brady, do you consider, for no reason at all other than just throwing it against the wall at this point, do you consider bringing in a guy who hasn't maybe played in the last little bit just to get a new look in there? Darian Plouffe has made a lot of fans for himself over the years for his playoff play. Do you rely back on the two-way play of Brett Budgel? Is there something in Brandon Cruz who's been sitting? Do you find a way to get a guy like that back in?
Yeah, they're all good options. All 3 of them, have been big parts of this team all year. I do like the makeup of the current forward group. I think the changes can be made without a physical
that group?
In and out. Yeah, I just think if they can find a way to utilize their speed. Mm-hmm. Right now, Florida having so much success because a lot of the game is almost being played at a standstill in the neutral zone. They're a big team. That's going to be an advantage to them, right? So I think if you can find a way to get your Boltons, your Walkers, your Centazos, these guys moving their feet, I don't see how you play 60 minutes and draw 1 penalty.
Right.
If you can draw some penalties, have some success on the power play, get that puck zipping around, and just have a little bit of belief again that, listen, we're probably the more skilled team here if we can find the space to operate. I think with the 11 forwards they have dressed right now, they could find a way.
No, I don't disagree. And I do think that combined maybe with a little fine-tuning in their own zone in the compete department, I do think maybe they ought to come up with a couple of more loose pucks in corners and that kind of thing. But we know the buys are on the ice probably as we speak right now, hard at work to try and... Because really, the way I see it, you're looking for one more goal in your game.
Yep.
And that could come from a lot of places. It can come from hard work. It can come from a great shot. Maybe you need to get lucky, get greasy in front of the net. But I think above all that, I think if you come out flying for the first period in particular, if the Growlers can jump out to a multi-goal first period lead, I think it would go a long way. And again, if that's the lead that you're giving your goaltender, I think you'll have a good chance to carry that through the rest of the way. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like one thing you've been saying on your broadcast is they need to play a full 60 minutes. I feel like there's a couple times this series where they've got that early lead, but it's kind of slipped away from them towards the end of a period.
You're not wrong.
But I think the guy like Brady said, I think they need to use their speed. I think that's their best option right now. I think if they can kind of blow past those big guys and get into the zone, like last night, when they had that opportunity, they had some great quality chances in front. So I think the Growlers are going to come out buzzing, if for lack of a better word,
sure.
On Tuesday. But yeah, back to you.
No, I do think speed is going to be a weapon here in Game 6. And hopefully that's going to be enough here to get the Growlers over the hump. Any parting words from yourself before we sign off another one?
No, I really like what you said about the 2-goal lead. If if you're Florida, you're on the road. If you can just stay within 1 goal, you're thinking, let's stick to what we do
and the
just,
way they play,
and just find a way, right? But when you're down 2 as the time ticks away, you've got to be thinking, okay, maybe we got to come out of our shell a little bit here. We've got to take a couple more risks, a couple more gambles. I just feel like that'll be advantage Newfoundland.
Yeah,
get a 2-goal lead, make them change their approach.
And the way that these games have gone, and you never say this about really any team in hockey, how often do you say that teams get better as games go on? Typically a team will come out, they'll kind of peak early, they'll come out, guns blazing, and you never quite maintain that level as you go throughout a game, as you fatigue yourself and whatnot. But Florida, I mean, I don't know if this is just the way I'm choosing to see the game, but we've seen it in back-to-back games now. They've gotten better every period.
Yeah. It's like they almost start out slow and then they get better and better
it's the old rope-a-dope.
as more time ticks off the clock. It's crazy to see. I've never seen it before.
And and that's where I've really noticed, like late goals from Florida, late bursts for possible goals for the Everblades. Like they really do play to that final buzzer. Not that the Growlers don't, but it's just they do such a good job at playing the full 60. It kind of forces you to look at yourself and say, hey, we should probably borrow a few plays out of that playbook. But nonetheless, Game 6, the Growlers' backs against the wall, goes on Tuesday night at the Mary Brown Center at 7 p.m. Game 7, if necessary, and we hope it will be, is the very next day. It is on Wednesday, also 7 p.m. at the Mary Brown Center. And if you looked back at a lot of the post-game interviews that we've done this week while at home, every single person we've spoken to has said, man, the crowd has been loud. It really helps us. So that should be all the motivation you need to get your tickets to Game 6 on Tuesday while you're there. Buy Game 7 anyway, just in case, because you don't want to miss out for when the Growlers push this one to 7 in hopes of locking down their berth in the Kelly Cup Finals. But for today, that's it for the Doghouse. On behalf of Brady and KC, I'm Chris Ballard. We'll see you at the Mary Brown Center. Go Growlers!